$1. For these amazing prices, dial *255*1#. Again, dial *255*1#. The more you play, the better your chances. It's Win Liberia Cash Giveaway on Freedom FM.
Bring her to go to the main store.
So the man wanted for you to go steal from the web store.
Yeah, he said I'm joining to go steal to the web main store to get money to the store. That we go take it from there. I said, my man, we buy for the same leisure.
And how can the people catch you now?
The people, before the man called me back, I was on the 18th.
The same man now?
Yeah, the same man.
The same man who went for you to go steal?
Yeah, he called me on the 18th. Yeah. I was in the 9, now about 8:30. The man called me. He said, oh, my man, I will I'll call you back.
So that time you go to work?
I go to work.
You do for a working place, you can't go to the man?
Yeah, after my working area to Clarence to now go to the man.
To go steal now?
No, I'm not go steal. I go to yeah. You get the question anything you want for me to explain for you to understand. Then still questioning me, doubling the question. How will do it? How will mean it talk clear?
I break it, sorry.
I see.
When they call me in there,
when they call me in there, he asked me, say, how many of you are working to the area? I say, we are 3.
told the message we are 3.
Yeah. So he said, I want to give you tea. To carry to
the message want to give you
tea.
Have
no tea.
No tea.
Yeah.
For you to drink.
Oh, bread.
Bread.
3 pieces of bread.
The egg is that.
You eat my butter. So carry me to the minute. Say carry to the minute. You give it to the minute. Then you come back to the car.
So the food make you now carry that to go convince your friend.
Yeah. When I give it to the minute, the minute say thank you. I say okay. The minute say, where you going now? I say, I'm going where I can. So one of my friends call me.
And the same way we do now.
Yeah, the same way.
And they say we for you to go steal.
Yeah. So when I go to the minute, he say clean the car. Then they are 2 now.
The cheap.
Then they are 2.
Big G though.
Yeah.
That which.
Black BG, 4G. Yeah. So when I train the car now,
air condition all is that.
No, Papa, you can't wait for me to spin now. I'll leave the water now. You can judge people.
I don't ask any question, sorry.
You can judge people that can hear.
No, I'm a journalist. I beg you, sorry.
The way you talk the question, when I say when I move from here, I'm free. When I say when I move from here, I'm free. You said one time again. I want to really talk to you, but double in the question. Hi, looking, then you want force no more word there again. Why not be looking to the top? I'm not going to again. And said you come to the office of USP.
The tea is made the minute you come to the you say you carry the tea to the man. I say carry the tea to the man and you come now. So what next now?
For me, I will not there.
Nobody getting there. You say ask me too much question. Hey, that's what they say make egg and bread. Okay, sorry. Now I say sorry now. Okay, sorry. I will not ask you the question again. Okay, sorry.
When I give me answer now, then you
okay. Explain again. I'm not asking you no more questions again. Okay, that's why now.
In the say I'm in English.
Sorry.
See, I need you take that. You take that.
I taking time. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Say that I take time to explain.
I'm filled with a profound sense of gratitude and humility. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve as your president and commander-in-chief for the past 6 years. Together, in 2018, we embarked on a journey to build a united, peaceful, and prosperous Liberia.
When you elect a clown and you think that he will be a king, what he does is to convert the kingdom into a circus. This is what we must deal with, and this is what we must say. Who do we elect into our public offices. Because, as I've said before, when you allow hyenas to take care of goats, why should you be surprised when the goats are eaten? This is the same. And Africa is only going to realize our potential in all areas when, by dint of choice, we enable and allow our best men and women to serve in different areas. I've heard it being said about Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore. I've heard it being suggested about Mahathir Mohamad in Malaysia. I've heard it being said about Japan. I've heard it being said about other countries. But there was a conscious decision on the part of those individuals and the followership. We always talk about leaders, but we never talk about the followers. The followers must also style up. Africans on average are for some reason attracted to thieves. Africans are for some reason attracted to men and women who cannot serve her. And when they are not served, then they complain. When Africans are told, choose you now whom we shall release, Jesus of Nazareth or Barabbas, they say, release Barabbas. And when Barabbas behaves like Barabbas, they say, why are you not behaving like Christ? It cannot be done.
In May of 2001, signed a second of two executive orders, number 13213, Defense Exhibit D310, in which it was stated, and I quote, the government of Liberia's complicity in the RUF's illicit trade in diamonds and its other forms of support for the RUF are direct challenges to the United States foreign policy objectives in the region, as well as the rule-based international order that is critical to the peace and prosperity of the United States. Therefore, I find these actions by the government of Liberia contribute to the unusual and extraordinary threat to the foreign policy of the United States described in Executive Order 13194, with respect to which the President declared a national emergency. This executive order did not say the alleged complicity, it concluded the complicity. The conspiracy was born, all systems put into motion, and here I stand today. I never stood a chance. This is the broader contextual matrix that regrettably did not and still has not seen the light of day in these proceedings, despite the gallant efforts by the defense to unearth and reveal the contextual framework behind the charges against me. Now, with the two executive orders, the dogs were let out, so to speak. What followed was a dispatch of the attack pack led by Lieutenant Colonel David Crane, Defense Intelligence 30 years prosecutor. He, Crane, unlawfully unsealed the court's sealed indictment to his handlers, senior U.S. government officials at the U.S. Embassy in Freetown, and was never held to account. The rest of the operational team are Colonel Brenda Hollis, Defense Intelligence, CIA, U.S. Air Force, Senior Trial Counsel, and now prosecutor James C. Johnson, U.S. Army expert, 20 years on conventional and special operations, Chief of Prosecutions for the SCSL. Alan White, 30 years, Defense Intelligence, recalled from retirement to head up investigations at the Special Court of Sierra Leone. Stephen J. Rapp came on board as Chief Prosecutor for a short time of experience from Capitol Hill, where he served with the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee sometime before. It came as no surprise to me that as a reward of sorts for Stephen Rapp's diligence in the execution of U.S. foreign policy objectives through these ad hoc tribunals, he was appointed U.S. Ambassador Allied for War Crimes Issues. In support of the contextual framework of politics, on February 8, 2006, Lieutenant Colonel David Crane, prosecutor, appeared before a U.S. Congress subcommittee on Africa, Defense Exhibit D404, and spelled out in clear terms the decision taken in support of regime change in Liberia and what needed to happen to solidify that process. There was little mention, if any, in his testimony about Sierra Leone. And here is what he said. I posit that 5 years from now, when the international community is challenged by other crises, Taylor in Calabar, under the protection of Nigeria, will make his move. We will wake up one morning and watch on CNN as Taylor rides triumphantly down the main street in Monrovia to the executive mansion, daring all of us to come and get him. Unless he is handed over to the special court for Sierra Leone, this scenario is not out of the realm of possibilities. He then asked, how do we assure Liberia's future? And he answers that. Ultimately, he says, what we do about Taylor in the next several weeks will determine the fate of Liberia and the new administration of its president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Crane then sets out several plans, two of which I'll state here. He said, first, hand Charles Taylor over to the special court for Sierra Leone for a fair trial, his kind of trial. This takes him out of the local and regional dynamics that is West Africa. Second, tie any financial and political support to good governance in Liberia. Time does not permit, but the exhibits are present. Not even the Nigerian nation was spared from threats and intimidation, as explained by Femi Kayode, press secretary to President Obasanjo, the Nigerian head of state, who was with him in Washington when President George W. Bush promised, and I quote, to bring Nigeria to its knees if Taylor was not turned over to the special court. And what happened? Obasanjo buckled and capitulated. Now, this demonstrates the significant pressure that was brought to bear on President Obasanjo, irrespective of his personal and leadership obligations to the West African sub-region. And therein lies the dilemma for current African heads of state and government, but how to enter into binding commitments and obligations with the African pairs and remain steadfast, resolute, and unyielding in their fidelity to those agreements in the face of such unrelenting and punishing pressure from powerful Western leaders.
Where you at? Looking for your stomach, stop slipping. Whip your hands. Come on. I know you're sleeping. I gotta whip my stomach. Yeah? Okay, let's go. People lie to us. If I want to betray us, they get lost. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that let us go all our damages. We tired with their speech they preach indeed, and now you need to deceive us. Until we saw it frustrate us. So why does you lie? Why does you steal? Why does you allow the innocence to be? We just tell you. Now why we go tell you? But you screw us, you use us a little abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But at the question that we are.
And here, okay. It's another beautiful night, a beautiful moment in the Republic of Liberia. Let me say a very, very pleasant good evening to all of you across the country. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, good evening to all of you in the diaspora. Our friends, our fans, our followers, our critics, and even those of you who do not like the things we say and the way we say them. It's good to have all of you joining us tonight on just another edition of Freedom Heart Talk.
Your vision and your mission, your intention, the
interesting issues to talk about tonight. Will be a continuation of from the previous week. New developments that emerged on the weekend. We begin the week reviewing all of the activities that took place on the weekend. His Excellency Joseph Yiman Boaka was in Lofa on the weekend, I'm told.
The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal.
The Congress for Democratic Change issued a statement today. We can go on and on to talk about the this whole conversation about the Ebola preventive measures being spoken about by all of us, including those in the managerial, those at the managerial level of the Ministry of Health. Just a lot. This show is in partnership with Crime Stopper Liberia. Very shortly, we take a break. Bring you a word from our sponsor. When we come back, we'll move into our discussions. Beginning with recognizing those of you joining us via our Facebook Live tonight. My name is Austin Kawa. Junkies Morris is here. Together we are driving you straight up to 10 o'clock. I may not be here up to 10 o'clock. I'll be leaving just after an hour from now. At this break, to be right back.
Yo, hello. I want to talk about violence. More violence is indiscriminate. It can happen for any reason and to anyone. Until we do something to stop the surge of vigilante-style justice in this country, none of us will be safe. My Liberia is Liberia of hope. In my Liberia, it is possible. Violence is not part of my Liberia. Violence leads to property damage, injury, or even death, as we are seeing recent months in several parts of Liberia, including Monrovia. Talk to people in your community about violence. Stand up against mob justice. Be a community hero. Liberia is all that we have. We must all unite to uphold the rule of law. This is Old Man Sam Sion, your community crime fighting partner. Thanks for listening. This is Old Man Sam Sion.
Thank you, Old Man Sam Sion. Crime Stopper, thank you very much. Junkies Morris, what's up?
Greetings, Ostu, and greetings to the public. Those following us from the diaspora and all of you following us here in Liberia. I want to say a pleasant welcome to you on this brand new week edition of the program Freedom Hard Talk here on Freedom FM 87.9. Ostu, how was the weekend and how's the family?
Weekend was okay. God money us. I tell people God money us. God is good to us. So yes, that's why everything we do is on God, So our hope, our reliance, our only hope, our only reliance is on the old man. So we give him all the praise, all. They got a song called "We Give You All the Glory."
Yes,
we worship you, our God. You are worthy to be praised. So yes, God. So let's welcome those of you joining us. Can you please help me with the start from up there? Let me see. Okay, Stanley Busso has joined us. Corporate reader Alexa Morba, Alaska P, Terry Conan, Venetius Junior Bar, Gift Igbedi, Bobby Bong. G-O-H-N, Bobby Gong, Ambassador Wharton, Morgan Jr., Sunday, Saturday, Zonwi, Wondule, Prince Shafa, Mantonian Son, Agatha Glasgow, Samuel Kofi Woods Jr., Moses, Sikolo, Kwame, all of you, welcome to the show tonight. Welcome to the show. Jerison Tukpa is following as well. Augustine Tali, Verma McIntosh, Samuel Hollywood, all of you, Ambassador Dayton Carter, Samuel Hine, Benigo Basi, Mawata Ability, Ome Zoko, and who else? Who do I see there? William Masakwe. It's good to have all of you joining us tonight. Junkies one. What do we? I thought Alex Bay was coming up here to get me water.
Yeah, I'm sure he's full. He will be here soon.
So it was a hectic weekend, and it's good to be back here. To all of you, I like the way some of our people can check on us. Some will send you messages, or some will call you to check on you. How was the weekend, or how's the weekend? How's everything going? How's the family? Yeah, so we know that we are building a relationship beyond just you watching us or listening to us, via the radio or what have you. To a family, So we appreciate all of you who reach out to us, to check on us in these trying times, So what do we start from?
Yes, basically, let me roll it out quickly for our menu tonight. Straight to our production room. The case regarding the late Tony, that's the late wife of Mr. Samuel Jackson. The report regarding the autopsy and all other reports that should accompany the investigation that was launched by the Liberia National Police under the stewardship of Mr. Gregory Como in 3 days' time have extended to more than 2 months. That is an issue. It will be discussed tonight. The Unity Party National Executive Committee issued a press statement in regards to the Nimbo establishment. That's the establishment of an institution that is meant to support Mr. Boakai. And JFK Nursing Director clarifies that Ebola is not in Liberia, and whatever that was going on in terms of workshop and seminars, they were all intended to prep our people or our health worker up in terms of preparedness before we can have an outbreak. So they've clarified that Ebola is not in Liberia, and a lady was arrested in regards to government saying that a false alarm was raised by her. All of that will be discussed in detail and so forth.
So I'm seeing something on the Executive Mansion website. I think I want to start.
Yeah, just try opening it.
So I think this was posted about an hour ago. Under the caption, "A praying nation must be a responsible nation." President Boakai says at presidential prayer breakfast. Some of these, anyway, that people do what they want to do. I don't know. Okay, so President Joseph Yiman Boakai Sr. today challenged Liberians across all sectors to match faith with personal responsibility. He made the remarks at the presidential prayer breakfast organized by the Evangelical Seminary of West Africa the EJS Ministerial Complex in Odiest, Congo Town, addressing clergy, government leaders, private sector representatives, and international partners. President Bouaka described the occasion as a moment of national reflection. A moment of national reflection. A moment of national reflection. Again, I'll emphasize a moment of national reflection and a reminder that Liberia's future depends on both human effort and divine guardians. The president reminds us that Liberia's future depends both on human effort and divine guardians. While government makes plans, institutions carry responsibilities, and citizens work daily to build a better country. We must never lose sight of the divine hand and God's a divine hand that guides nations. The president highlighted ongoing progress, including improved rules, stronger institutions, growing international confidence, and expanded economic opportunities. He cited Liberia's recent election to a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council as evidence of renewed global trust in the country's domestic stability and leadership. And so we can go on and on. It's a long piece. I like the portion where he spoke, where he mentioned, where they mentioned in the statement about a moment of national reflection. And you see, these phrases and opinions or expressions are importantly necessary for our country, for our growth. They are necessary. You know, a country that does not prepare a space or create a space for sober reflection, for deep reflection, then the question is, what are we capturing in our reflection as a country? Where is our reflection taking us? When are we going to get to where we want to reflect about? Are we reflecting on the past and restricting it to only governance the good times and forgetting about the hard times that we transitioned from to where we are today? What are we reflecting on? Somebody say our past. Where exactly? Where in our past, that space? What are we taking from there to reflect on? What are we considering? What is our reflection considering? And I wish I could ask I will have the president seated right before me, you know, as a guest, asking him some of these critical questions. Because man, when a leader speaks about reflection, we are talking about our past, where we have come from as a country,
where we are and where we are headed.
Yes. Let's say they reflect. We know the president is before us. What happened yesterday when I was vice president, comparatively to today when I'm president, or when I was LPRC managing director, or I was at LPMC, governance, the state of governance then, comparatively to the state of governance when you were vice president and now you're president. The vases, those vases that led us into the decades of wars we fought in this country. is our reflection, considering the vices that put us into conflict, into civil unrest. So it's not just about, posting on the executive mansion website. The president may say foreign things. But Junkies people, his lieutenants will have to be there to ensure that the actions of the government match the president's utterances.
Practically.
We have to be pragmatic in our engagements, in our conversations. The president can be, calling us to reflect. The president cannot be telling us about responsibility. Read the caption. The caption is important. He said, a praying nation must be a responsible nation.
Yeah. A praying nation must be a responsible nation.
He said, while governments make plans, institutions carry responsibilities, and citizens work daily to build a better country. We cannot be reflecting and exclude the issue about trust. Because we're talking, the president talking about a praying nation being a responsible nation. The nation is just a space. The country is just a space, Mr. President. I agree with you 100%. That a praying nation must be a responsible nation. I agree with you, Mr. President. Are we eating a praying nation first? That's the question we should ask ourselves. Are we a praying nation? Are we a responsible nation? Like I said, this place called country or nation is a space. It's a space. There are people occupying the space. And there are people managing this space. That's where responsibility comes in. Those who are given the responsibility to manage the space we have today that we call country. Your statement places all of them under the radar. The first line of becoming a responsible nation must have responsible leaders, Mr. President. When our leaders are not responsible, our country will not be a responsible nation, Mr. President. And I draw your attention to a number of issues concerning your officials who are not portraying themselves to be responsible people, Mr. President. Just see as a boss. And Mr. President, you can tell us that you are not aware of these people's activities. Just see as a boss, Mr. President. You and your CSA boss, your son, you're validated and signed the code of conduct for public officials. We can't be a praying nation. I agree with you, Mr. President. A praying nation must be a responsible nation. Your CSA boss cannot be dismissing people because they engage into dismissing civil servants because they engage into politics, unquote. While he himself is engaging into politics against the code of conduct for public officials that the two of you validated. Mr. President, this is concerning. We must agree when you speak as a leader because we believe you speak with wisdom. But when those wisdom cannot be particularized, then it becomes an issue to talk about, Mr. President. Then it becomes an issue to talk about. Because the president cannot be calling on us, the citizens, to be responsible people. And his officials are not being responsible. They are not leading by example. Then it is concerning. So, Mr. President, without due respect to some of your officials, they are not as responsible as they are supposed to be. Because in all fairness, Mr. President, it is irresponsible for your official to intentionally violate the code of conduct. Responsibility does not only mean, well, you do not want Yahya Kodoba as representative, then use some of your executive members to go and lobby with the House to impeach him. No, that's not the quality of the responsibility we're talking about here. Josiah Juka is in clear violation of the code of conduct for public officials, Mr. President. We can be praying to God and asking God to help us to be a developed nation. Asking for God's divine blessings, His divine protection, His divine guidance. And then when we succeed, God help us, we succeed in getting elected to a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council that is supposed to be promoting peace. Then we come back to our country and start beating protesters and beating students and dragging them because they protest for improved university. No, that's a contradiction. See, the number of police brutality has increased over the years, and no action is being taken. If you were taking actions, then we will be here celebrating you, Mr. President, because that's being responsible. People must be made to account for their wrongdoings. We know things will go wrong, things will get wrong. Officials will misbehave or slip. But what you do, the actions you take to punish officials who disrespect the laws, who violate our laws, who urinate on our constitution. But again, even in your office, Mr. President, you are aiding and abetting the disrespect and violation of our laws. Remember in 2024, the situation between Judy Annie and Prophet Key. I sat behind these same microphones and reminded you, Mr. President. I cautioned your government and reminded you that the utterances made by your legal advisor, Councillor Buju Ben Keita. I still remember watching that press conference conducted by Kula Fofana, your presidential press secretary, where your legal advisor openly announced on camera that he took his telephone and called the city solicitor. And the minute he said he questioned on the phone, I called him and questioned him. That was interference with the justice system. And your legal advisor said he called the city solicitor and asked him about the case and instructed him to drop the case. That was a case between two private citizens, Judy Annie and Prophet Key. And I said to you, Mr. President, that was the beginning of our intentional disrespect to the laws. Just after that situation happened, Funati Kofa was chased, harassed, along with lawmakers, particularly physically beaten, assaulted by state security in a political struggle that was supposed to be left with lawmakers to handle. The executive got involved and physically on camera beat lawmakers. Today, the president is talking about a national prayer program and reminding us to reflect on our past. Those are the incidents, Mr. President, that you, myself, all of us need to sit down and do a sincere reflection of where we have come from, why development or progress is so slow, because these are some of the reasons. You are in all of your activities, Mr. President. All your activities, all your actions, your utterances, they have all divided the country into two. We are reflecting on where we've come from, Mr. President. We cannot have a responsible nation with a country that is heavily divided on political and, in some cases, tribal land. Because even in the very government, one tribe, a few tribes you left out. Everything, all the important influential positions going to Lofa. The entire Southeast field excluded from the government. We can't, Mr. President, it's not possible. You have to reconcile this country. You can't be calling on citizens to be responsible, to support the government, no. It's a good call. But all of your actions, Mr. President, without due respect, your actions have divided the country. Sadly, Mr. President, you are not doing anything. This is a democracy, a multi-party democracy that you lost your relatives for, some of your relatives to the war. I'm talking here, lost some of my relatives to the war, all because we were fighting for multi-party democracy. We wanted people to have the free way to affiliate, to associate to a land. Something that is guaranteed by our constitution. And that no one is supposed to be dismissed from his or her job. No one is supposed to be prevented or denied employment because of his or her political side. Today, honor your government, Mr. President. To work in government, you must be a Unity partisan or a Liberty partisan or a UP Alliance member. Let's reflect. But you are cautioning us all of us to be responsible people. That is not a responsible action, Mr. President. No responsible government or responsible leader will celebrate, will dismiss or deny you employment to work. Even in the private sector, when they know you're seeking for a job in the private sector, they chase you there. Why? Because either you supported George Weah or you are a sedition. Mr. President, that's not responsibility. No responsible president does that. No responsible official, minister, or managing director does that. That you deny a Liberian from working because he or she does not support the Unity Party. So when I say we need to be practical, that's what I mean, Mr. President. We keep be saying fun things and doing ugly things. We go to the public on the camera, we say fun things. We come behind the scene, we do bad things, we do nasty things. We chase our own brothers and sisters off their jobs because of opinion, because of expression, because of speech. You were, Mr. President, we are reflecting tonight. You were former vice president and political leader of the Unity Party for 6 years under George Weah. Nobody went to jail in this country for speech. The government did not jail anybody in this country for speech. You were president. The very man who supported you today, he's in jail for 6 months for speech. Mr. President, we are reflecting. And we are accepting your call on us to reflect, and we are also asking you, Mr. President. We are begging you. It's time to sit down also as the head of state, as the president for our country, to also reflect. You need to, Mr. President. You need to reflect. You need to reflect deeply. You see where we are as a country. Your officials are, look at all your party executives. All your party executives are in government. wearing Unity Party t-shirts at Unity Party programs against the code of conduct. That is irresponsible because it violates the code of conduct. The code of conduct is a statutory law. Your officials cannot be violating the code of conduct and you talking about being responsible. If you want your citizens to be responsible, your officials must first exemplify responsible behaviors, responsible attitudes, responsible utterances. You can have a deputy minister in the morning causing somebody, in the evening causing opposition leaders. You have your information minister causing people mind, causing people power all around here, and you talking that you want your citizens to be responsible. Responsibility starts with your officials. It starts with you, and then it spreads out to your officials, Mr. President. If we all must help or support the leadership that's in charge, we can bear our opposition opinion to your governance. We can maintain our side, but support you if you do the right thing. Criticize you or critique you or disagree with you when necessary. But we don't have to fight. We don't have to divide ourselves on party line. We don't have to build enemies because of party politics. You can't deny you are president for over 5 million human beings, Mr. President. You can't deny them job. You can't start denying your own group jobs or employment because they do not support your side. 5 million human beings will not support you. This is a multi-party democracy. So your officials need to start being responsible first by respecting our laws, by respecting people's views, by respecting people's affiliation, by respecting people's space. State security must be responsible enough in handling crisis, in dealing with protesters. You can't be, using force heavy on students, dragging them, blood making some of them all the time, so that they're not mistake. We are a praying nation. We should reflect. The citizens should be responsible. Then the official will be irresponsible. Your managing director of the port publicly accused a law firm wrote all his counts. Chinese people. You spoke about international reputation here. If Chinese investors got duped by a managing director at the port, to date, Councillor Johnny Momo, on behalf of his law firm, wrote the Liberia National Police requesting them, complaining the Sekou Dougle and urging the police to begin an investigation. Today, Sekou Dougle has not been investigated because the police is supposed to investigate, charge, or stuff. The Chinese investors were beaten. Nothing came out of it. A Liberian lawyer engaged the government, the laws. Still nothing happened. Why? Because Sekou Dougle is the darling ball to Mamaka Belete and Katumu Bwaka. So he's above the law. Mr. President, you want us to be responsible? How? When your officials are the ones violating every law in the country. There's no law in this country that the Unity Party officials have not violated. All the laws in this country. There's no one law in this country that has not been violated by the Unity Party. Your officials. All your people, party executives, your minister of youth and sports now. I think somebody says she's a content creator now. So, Mr. President, we'll play our part here. We will play our part, but you need to do well. On a serious note, you have to do well. Your officials will have to do well. Yes, your officials have to do well. Okay. So I think we can stop on that note. So let's play this video. Wait, Osta, let's play this video from her arrest, and then we can move on.
So yesterday we had a training slash meeting wherein the nursing directors of GFK, the people are nursing directors, Mrs. Jokol and came to talk about the nursing directors, Mrs. Jokol and me. We is one of the managers at GFK. Okay. The both of them came along, they did a training. It was an in-service training. After the training, like they brought some PPEs. Yes. So they were like putting us on the alert that we need to be very careful whilst we're giving care. Yes. Even when we went into any patient, we should have long sleeves on, and we should make sure if we're not working with any patient, we should get a PPE on to keep safe. The reason of this alert is because some of the people when in Uganda were doing things in their view, and these people bashed the airport. And the airport authority, that was Mrs. Jokol was saying it. He said the airport authority didn't notice until they already passed notice that they came from Uganda. He said among these people, about 5 of them were sick and was brought to GFK. You were sick and what? They were sick and was brought to GFK, and they were showing all the signs and symptoms of Ebola. Their eyes were red, their ears were red. Who was saying this to you? Mrs. Jokol was saying it to the body, the entire body. Yes. Their eyes were red, their ears were red, and all the signs. GFK couldn't handle it, so they had to call the surveillance team and hand over the case to it. Yes. They just say as with precautions, at least everything we do, we gotta be very careful, even though the Ministry of Health have not come to say it yet, but we should be careful because as nurses, we are the first liners. Yeah. So the director of telling us. So when I went home, I called my children, I gave them a lot about the present situation that is going on, and I also went at home for women. So I decided to get
at home for women?
Home for women.
At school?
I'm a nurse there too. Okay. So I decided to alert my nurses. Yes. So I started recording to them, alerting them because like I tried to call these people on my phone line in the chat room. So I decided to send recording to them just to alert them about what is going on because we are nurses. And they have to take in any political field. And
okay. So that's a sign. So that's Paula.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Paula Bidel.
Yes, that's what she explained and everything. And then there's also this response, right? I'm told, okay, Spoon is reporting something, and they're reporting that this is the response from the director of nursing. So we have the reference Spoon because we're not seeing their hard copy, whether she officially issues. And so this is what Spoon is reporting about. I mean, as a response to a response from the director of nursing services at GFK. The director of nursing services at the John F. Kennedy Medical Center, Mrs. Joanna D. Joka, has clarified that recent educational sessions conducted for nurses at the hospital were strictly precautionary and not linked to any confirmed Ebola case in Liberia. So in her statement, she didn't say also that the director of nursing confirmed
anything, yeah.
So let's get that. You listen to, she said they were showing she
mentioned that
5 patients were showing signs and symptoms. All the signs and symptoms. That is not a confirmation of Ebola. So let's get that. We have to
It's a
correlate
caution.
here. They say in a statement issued Monday, Mrs. Choka explained that the awareness and preparedness initiative was carried out as part of her professional and ethical responsibility overseeing the E.S. Grant Memorial and Maternity Hospitals under the JFK Medical Center. According to her, the training was aimed at strengthening the readiness of nurses and ensuring a safe working environment for both healthcare workers and patients in the event any highly infectious disease outbreak, including Ebola virus disease. Mrs. Choka noted that Liberia's painful past experience with Ebola, coupled with a recent alert from the Ministry of Health regarding reported Ebola cases in the Democratic Republic of Congo, made it necessary for healthcare workers to remain informed and vigilant. She said the training focused on patient triaging procedures, infection prevention measures, and the proper use of personal protective equipment, including impermeable gowns, double gloves, and face shields. It is important to clearly state that at no time during these educational engagements did I or any member of my team disclose or suggest that Liberia has any confirmed Ebola case. So only the Ministry of Health has the authority to declare confirmed Ebola cases in the country. We got reaffirm. So yeah, so Choka did not say they didn't allow her.
No.
Mrs. Choka did not say the lady, Paula, lie on her. So we will play Paula's account just now. We just read for you Mrs. Choka's account or response or clarification. So there's no disagreement between the two comments.
No.
Paula said training sessions were held as they call it preparedness or readiness awareness session with nurses, because recently there's a Liberian delegation that came from Uganda, and that they passed through the airports, through the airport via screening and all of that, and they got home. 5 persons fell sick and were rushed to the hospital, JFK, and all the 5 persons were showing all the signs and symptoms of Ebola. That does not mean they get Ebola. But Paula was quoting Mrs. Choka, who announced in that meeting, in that awareness meeting, that nurses, please be careful. You'll be on the alert. Critical cases, can you use your PPE or your gloves? Because recently, the Liberian delegation returned from Uganda, and 5 persons fell sick, and they are showing all the signs and symptoms of Ebola. So you'll be on the alert. That was the essence of that meeting that Mrs. Choka held with nurses. On the basis of that awareness message or alert given to the nurses, Paula, who also works at Hope for Women as a nurse, decided not to keep the information to herself, but to also place other nurses who worked with her at Hope for Women on the alert also.
Precautionarily too.
Yes. While she was doing that in good faith by putting other nurses on the alert, she said, no, all these nurses are many. We already have a chat room. And I'm able to call all the people there. Maybe I basically where to read everything. Let me just send a voice recording to them in the chat room, placing them on the alert and sharing my knowledge and my experience with them. Somebody in the chat room too probably may wanted to, probably somebody in the chat room to say, let me forward the information to my brother or my sister or my relative for them to be on the alert. And Ajaha is the other just started going. And the information, it turned out to be appear like she raised false alarm about Ebola being in Liberia. I have not listened to the audio. The audio that is circulating, I have not listened to it. But a media colleague who listened to the audio said to me that there is nothing in the audio where the lady confirmed that she's telling Ebola in Labro. You be careful, no. She was also saying, using the word as symptoms, showing all the symptoms and all the signs like that. But she didn't confirm
just
that.
to be on the alert.
Yeah. But you see, I don't know what to take away from there. But I think, you see, I was just talking about politics, right? This is the cause of toxic politics. Our President said, if you want to have recent responses to public stuff about one time there was news that President Sadiq contributed money to CDC
to parallel construction.
In response to that, President Sadiq said, our politics is so toxic. And this is the toxicity she was talking about. You see, because we want to politicize, in fact, we have politicized the entire country. So everything, Oscar, in what we're not to go visit more at the office. Some people get there. Why supposed to go to more at the office? Also, even moving on to go to go visit some of your friend government, do that whole. Even see me and some of my friends to sit at entertainment places. That was remember a line clear.
Yeah.
You see, they made a people. What do you call the play? On that street. What do you call that? You need to play, man. Mirror shop on that street. They make it come that street here, man. The other men, they kill a cow.
Yo.
So you trust it because that's how we've made the country. The country is so divided on political line that we are taking it to the hospitals. Yes. I told you, right? JFK is highly political. That JFK is so. That's why I'm very careful with some of the other time I shared an experience where my wife took my daughter at the hospital. And JFK. And when she identified herself, they asked for the child's name. She called the child Ostina Kawa. The guy who was doing the registration was brave enough to say to my wife, "Oh, you hear the Oscar now on the radio cussing, dealing with Unity Party. Oh, they he hate Unity Party." Yes, so my wife decided not to seek treatment at JFK for the girl out of fear. Then she called me. She came outside. She called me. I was so angry. I was going to JFK. Then she said, "No, forget it. We'll go different hospital." And that was the second time. That was her second experience at JFK. So imagine, and her first experience was a doctor. The same remark, a doctor, medical doctor, he made the same remark, and we had to transfer the girl in the hospital. But she didn't tell me. So when the second incident happened,
she was forced to tell you.
Yes. And guess what? The doctor was the one who was treating Ostina. The first doctor, the first guy. So we had a number, recording, checking in, you know. But that's why I got angry now, you know. But then I think the whole JFK been in now. Be careful. I can't say I will not carry my children there because when you got emergency, you don't know. I guess I will not carry my children there. But we have to be on the alert.
Sure.
We have to be extremely careful. Because the country is so politicized now that even the nurses, the medical doctors, they're all showing their side. Not all of them. But some of them,
blacklist.
especially the ones in position, they're not afraid to show their political side and express their political opinions while on work, on call. And this lady is the wife of the CSA boss.
Yeah.
The director of nursing, she's the wife of the CSA boss, Josiah Joka. So you see your political lineage. So anybody could easily assume that maybe they won't target again, they are Paula, or nobody wants to target her. People man as just people everybody, my man, their minds are just made up on politics. They tied to politics, so everything must be political. There are some who call them sedition. Paula sedition. She won't be. They Paula who are work at jail. I don't know about. They say all the nurses have spoken with about Paula have been all along. We never hear talking politics in the hospital. Some will be 5 years, 10 years with no. So it can be political. But still, some of her colleagues there have struggling to make it look political. So my brother Junkies are contributing. I mean, empathy with Paula, and I like the way she's so relaxed. And I think the clarity also that came from Mrs. Joka was necessary.
Was very necessary.
The clarity from Mrs. Joka was necessary because imagine Mrs. Joka had not provided that clarity, or she had provided a clarity that will contradict what Paula has said.
Yeah, it means the speculation would have been indicated.
Yes. Whether she's being professional in her response in the public, doing something different. But if the response I read from Mrs. Joka, if that response is her real self, but I don't know. But those of you who know, if that's the Mrs. Joka there, I mean, then her husband only arrogant.
No, they gotta do like that.
So yeah, but if that response she the clarity she made, if that's her real self, I mean, good to go, Mrs. Joka. I clap for you. You know, some men can be arrogant, some women can be homo. Some women can be arrogant, some men can be homo.
Sometimes it can be.
So we not use your husband's arrogance
to just preclude you of the benefit and the hard way you continue to.
And now you can tell you what they're doing. So nobody can join you into it because of your husband. Yeah, but man, so Junkies, I mean, but that's what I think, man. The country, I think this whole thing is being overly hard, exaggerated for political reason and all of that. We can't do that. That the last place that was supposed to carry politics in the hospitals.
Sure.
We have politicized all the sectors. We won't carry to the health sector too? No.
Also, this reminds me of the situation with the former traditional council here. They seem politicizing every facet of the society to the extent that bishops, pastors, and reverends are using their pulpits because the president talked about Liberians reflecting. A praying nation is a responsible nation. So when we want to reflect, these are things that we need to put into perspective, Mr. President. The JFK is not a terrain for politics.
No, not at all.
Not at all. In fact, the issue, I got problem with the form and manner in which state security handled this issue. But just abruptly arresting this lady
by radio camera.
What's the intent?
What kind of uptake is that?
That is a prejudicial action. What's the intent? There has to be a comprehensive, no-interference investigation that will see this lady coming before the law to answer the question if the need be, or if she really made a statement that was raising false alarm. But rushing in to arrest this lady, creating the scene as if it is us versus them, is permeating every facet of the society, Mr. President. that you are calling us to reflect. You as a president will now need to take the lead, because where it is extending now, it had become an existential threat for the existence of Liberians, to the extent that I will now support Liberty Party, because if I openly support Liberty Party and go to the hospital, my life will not be safe because I openly supported Liberty Party. Mr. President, you will need to take the lead. We will reflect, Mr. President, if you take the lead, by calling all of our prominent Liberians, particularly those who you perceive as your political opponents, around the table, to have a sense of atonement and reflection that will allow reconciliation and unity, Mr. President. Like Austin said, we cannot be saying these things on our lips. Mr. President, these are not just talking matters. These are matters. These are issues confronting us and requiring stern actions from you as a president, so that those who you are leading will follow suit, Mr. President. For instance, us saying the public, the president is alleged by Sheikh Al-Mustafa Kuyate, ambassador at large of the United Party government. Is alleged that the president of the Republic of Liberia is not speaking to the immediate past president, who did not give him any hard time in getting the seal of the presidency. The president, if this is true, the president will have to take the bold step by taking the lead as a father of the nation to call on the immediate past president and other stakeholders to a come to Jesus meeting, Mr. President, since you need Liberians to reflect.
The order you're in speaking, conversation, speaking, debating with Joey and Joseph Baga. Yeah, you what to do.
I'm mentioning this because the president is calling us to reflect. A praying nation is a responsible nation. So for us, citizens of this country, to be responsible, our leaders will have to take the lead in being responsible.
Well, the president doesn't want to speak to the former president. And I'm a Benin for me.
That's your Benin, but Labrador Benin.
No, that's Labrador Benin. Once the president is respecting our laws, once the president is dismissing or suspending and prosecuting his officials for corruption, once the president is now using his office to interfere with the justice system, once the president's officials are not using their offices to rig public covers and even intimidate and humiliate opposition people, beat those students, bro, you must be the job that you know.
Austin,
we just want the president to respect our law. That what the issue.
Austin,
a personal feeling was speaking to Joria's speech. Is it Joria? That one that two of them placed it.
No, at this stage they are national leaders.
All right,
Austin.
You have national speaking ceremony for 200 together. National speaking ceremony bring 200. You can't speak. I beg you, yeah.
Austin,
speak. Two others.
Austin, these are the two leaders in the country that are controlling majority of the people.
So we create one session of familiarity for speaking session for Joe, like campaign for Joey and Joseph Baga to speak. Carrasco was traveling and took picture with Joseph Baga Jr. He put it on Facebook. Ugure? Eh, Carrasco Joey song. So Joey, you must be to Joe Baga. Joe Baga, you must be to Joey. That 2 of them.
Yeah, is why they need to speak.
Our facing UP will interact with them. UP facing CDC will interact. The ones who say we're not interacting because you CDC may or UP may, that are better. That's their business. Jogging. The country too small, too toxic. It is the country too hard.
Also,
Probably talking speech, baby.
The leaders.
How many years?
It is not particularly speech.
How many years?
It is not particularly speech.
How many years?
Austin.
Is there how many years?
Austin.
You know how many years you've been talking to Mr. President Boakai to reconcile the country?
But Austin, that's what I'm saying. The president is calling for us to reflect. And the president is further dividing the country. So it is not mere speech. Yes. It is speaking to one another and in their private life. It's not an issue. But these are people who are leading the country. The fact that we is the largest political party leader in the country, is a prominent stakeholder that needs to be considered in every conversation. So if us and myself not speaking, how do we do Freedom Hard Talk? And Freedom Hard Talk is here for a singular purpose, in the interest of the people. And Joe Boakai, the president of the country, and Dr. Weah, the former president, are leaders who are interchangeably leading this country. So it is onus on the present and current president to open the avenue for these conversations.
Okay, so
because Mr. Weah too may have his part to play in making sure that the Boakai regime succeeds.
Okay,
that's why we have created that opportunity.
In the case where
Boakai to provide his expertise.
The last time I listened to former President Salif, and she said she and the current president have not spoken for long, or they don't speak too often. Since this speaking thing is supposed to be tied to governance as a step or as a measure for being responsible and taking the lead, in the case where people say, okay, Joseph Boakai is the president. Yes, Mr. Weah, you are the former president, but you are a small brother to Boakai. You can be Boakai son, sir. No, you Boakai son. Joya 59, right?
Yeah. 59.
October
4, May 16.
Boakai 81, right? Yeah. 59, 81.
Yeah, you can be.
Yeah. So you can be son, you can be son. Yeah. So you can.
In this case, we're talking leadership.
No. We're talking reconciliation. So they say, okay, you know what I mean? You the small boy. With avenue, you call the president. Don't go to him. Just take phone, you call him and speak to him. So, what he was saying.
So what that could not be considered with the situation between we and Guinea?
What were you saying?
Why it could not be considered?
What were you saying? Were you agree with Joey take phone and call President Boakai to speak to him? Were you agreed?
Were
you support that?
Honor humility,
right?
Honor humility, I support that.
Okay, they will go.
So,
but guess what? Yeah, that rationality working here. Outside this platform, the supporters of John Suya does not. I mean, we wouldn't see it that way.
Yeah,
they will tell you no.
That's the point.
Even tonight, we're talking.
That's why it's only to take leadership
right now. Even what you are just said.
Yes.
That in the case where it's okay, President, you the small boy, you can be a son of a.
Yeah. So you will be the one to call him.
Now the thing we're talking here, Nana.
You
Man City. The best Man City and Nana said she very bad. Why we say anything? So this is the issue with the country and supporters.
That's my point. It's dividing the country further.
Okay.
So it starts from the leaders. So in mitigating this,
so Boakai supporters say no, Mr. President, you're not doing it.
This problem of division.
Weah supporters say no, Mr. President, you're not doing it.
So who is on us on the leader to say, because when the leader speaks, the follower follow.
Who the leader here?
In that case, Mr. Boakai.
Why not Mr. Weah? Who is a former president? He was president before Joseph Boakai.
If you want to bring in that analogy, when he defeated Joe Boakai, the now president, He went at the residence.
Okay, he did.
That was the first resident he visited.
So you see,
so
now you sound like
honor the law of reciprocity. Honor the law of reciprocity. You say I'm sounding a citizen.
Yeah, how you sounding now?
I was thinking.
Yeah, now you sound like a citizen.
I know.
Or like a United Palestinian because
I know you try to play the devil's advocate. My point is reconciliation. Since the president is calling us to reflect and be responsible citizens, we always encourage on this platform. He should take the lead.
Okay.
So you know why he needs to take the lead?
Yes.
The president is with the sovereign, and on that basis, he has to extend the hand of friendship. That is the modus operandi.
No, that one is sentiment.
Not sentiment. That's sentiment also.
You see, okay, let's transition to something.
Who's the sovereign?
Because no, you see, I always say this to people who write junkies. You see, this place, this platform, radio, is for if we don't manage our sentiments or about issue or emotions, we might just sound like the ordinary Liberian out there. Yeah, and we can't be sounding like our audience because the people in the audience, that's just sad. They got sad. You people here, CC people here. When we're talking governance on national issue, like reconciliation, we can't be invoking sentiment.
That's sentiment. No, that's my position.
Oh, yes. I listen to you speaking. We can't be invoking sentiment. We can't be sentimental about it. The moment we try to be sentimental about it, it means we're not even prepared to see the two people reconcile. Because as soon as start being sentimental, then you say because there's one sentiment. You say because this is your analogy is because Mr. Weah got elected in 2018 and he drove to Mr. Braga's house, so Mr. Braga too got elected in 2023, he must drive to Joe Weah. You see, that's sentiment.
To satisfy the taste of the popular supporters.
Chief, you and I want two leaders to reconcile. We can't be taking side.
I'm not taking side.
We can't be saying
I'm not taking side.
No, but the analogy, you can be telling me because Joe Weah drove to Braga when he was elected, that Braga turned out to drive to Joe Weah all the time because he elected. That's sentimental.
Let's transition.
That's sentimental.
I like your devil's advocate. Let's
because
transition.
we don't want to create a space and avenue, that will see the convergence of the two leaders.
Yeah.
But so to do that, we can't be
we have to play the neutral role.
No, thank you. So we can't be saying because we are delayed, Braga must do it. There's no standard here. That's not an acceptable standard. That because we are delayed, so Braga must do it. That's not an acceptable standard at the national level. We're talking reconciliation. No, we can use that as a standard. The president is the president. The president, I said two things. The president is president. The president is also a father figure to George Weah. Right? Meaning, I think we are support we are support I put it one side. You think we are support put it one side. They were talking national issue, we're talking reconciliation with no side, with no emotion, no sentiment. But guess what? We agree. CDCs will not support it. CDC will not support Mr. Weah taking phone to call President Braga. CDC will not support it. United Palestinians will not support President Braga going to Joe Weah, taking from the coin to go to no. They will tell you, say, the UP will tell you, say, there's a UP saying no, that first goodness. Forgetting on Mr. Weah is former president. So they will tell you that first goodness. Don't call him. No, don't drive to him. Before you go there, he will open a gate for you. Eh?
That's why in this case,
that's not the ordinary supporter of something. President Braga, you can't go to that man's house before that man go there, that man go embarrass you or humiliate you or stuff. Maybe probably he may not open a gate, the recession by people. No, don't go there.
So now the same sentiment.
That's what I'm saying.
That is the same sentiment
you are not paying attention, you're drinking water. I'm saying, I'm quoting UP supporters here. I'm saying this is exactly what UP supporters will be telling President Braga not to do. And this one CDC supporter will be telling President we are not to do. That's not my opinion.
And my opinion is the president should take the lead. That's my position.
Your opinion is
but you saying
no. Your opinion is the president must take the lead.
Sure.
I agree with anybody who will suggest for President Braga to take the lead by engaging former President Weah. I will agree with that person. But you know what? in negotiation, you gotta leave room. Yes, negotiation are give and take. You can't take all. You can't take it. You can't go to the negotiation table with the master that you want all.
No, 100%.
So if we want to see the two leaders reconcile, come together to reconcile, and look, we sit on the table and leave room, give and take.
Yeah, someone got to give.
Mr. President, you can't do this. Mr. Former President, you are giving to this. Mr. President, you have to give into this. But once we're not prepared to give in, to let go our ego, bro, we'll be wasting our time on the platform talking about George Weah and Joseph Boakai speaking Benin. It's a complicated matter. Because my view may be realistic, but unreasonable to some supporters of George Weah. Your view may be realistic, but will be viewed as but you see, you're not making sense. That stupid thing I want to talk on the radio, excuse my expression. That's something else. No, Junkies, I was talking. Somebody sitting down, what George Weah supposed to say now somewhere, no, causing me. I'm telling you.
And what United Party supporter somewhere,
yeah,
dealing with me.
That's the society we have. That's the society we have. I'm a Weah supporter. I'm not supposed to praise Joseph Boakai.
Yeah.
And also sit down and say and praise the government for something that worth talking about.
That PR you do.
Thank you. And also that's a standard. The emotional standard we set. Yeah, that's the emotional standard we set for people, for ourselves. That because Austin support George Weah, he's not supposed to say anything positive or any PR thing for United Party government. That's not my standard. That's not my standard. When campaign we change the tuning, we adjust the messaging and engage in a campaign manner.
Yeah.
When campaign is over, we tend to talking governance issue. We turn to talking governance issue. And I agree with anybody. The president must take the lead. But if the president is not taking the lead, supposed to say no, what do we do? Can we talk to our own president too to say we are saying
that's the issue?
Who came with that message?
Who would be the president? Who would cross the president? Almost like the man was small. Your man would just, you and your other man won't fight. Your friend would just draw a line and say, man, who crossed the line?
Yeah,
you the strong man.
You sure you won't fight, can't cross the line.
Yeah, we sure you won't fight, can't cross the line. So how are you looking? So honestly, to transition, the United Party National Executive Committee had a press release published.
They want the pressing file
onto the the same United Party that said TIF 5. And denigrated father. So United Party UP National that's
what exactly the
United Party welcomes the establishment of nimble and commends Honorable Thomas P. Fowler for his unflinching confidence in President Joseph Boakai Sr. The United Party extends profound appreciation and commendation to the vision bearer and founder of the National Independent Movement for Boakai.
Oh, but I mean that forget about that statement. Anyway, that really people statement before they say that you be statement so
Honorable Thomas Fowler, Deputy Speaker of the 55th National Legislature, Republic of Liberia, for the official groundbreaking ceremony of the Nimble National Headquarters held on May 24, 2026 along the Tubman Boulevard in Monrovia. The colorful and well-attended occasion, which brought together thousands of enthusiastic supporters and citizens, was graced by the presence of the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Boakai Sr., along with senior government officials of the United Party, including the National Chairman and the National Secretary General. The massive turnout and level of organization demonstrated the growing national support for the rescue mission and the developmental agenda of President Boakai. We particularly commend Honorable Thomas P. Fowler for his statesmanship, courage, and explicit confidence reposed in the leadership of our standard bearer and President of the Republic of Liberia. His decision to establish NIMBLE reflects a strong belief in the President's vision for economic recovery, infrastructure development, rule of law, transparency, and inclusive governance. At a time when Liberia is undergoing critical national transformation, the United Party believes that collaboration among patriotic Liberians and progressive institutions remains essential in consolidating peace, stability, and sustainable development across the country. The United Party assures Honorable Farah and the leadership of NIMBU of our readiness to work collectively in promoting the RS agenda for inclusive development, AARD, and ensuring that the hopes and aspirations of the Liberian people are fulfilled. The United Party remains committed to building broad-based partnership that transcend political lines in the interest of national unity and progress. Signed, Lassana Pawene Fofana, National Assistant Secretary General for Press, Publicity and Outreach in the party. Austin, there are two things a joy from this press release of the United Party Executive Committee. First, the United Party is commending Thomas Fala, who was on their blacklist upon coming to power for prosecution, for possible prosecution. Today, he's being praised as arrogant, as somebody who is in their land, who is in the interest of development, and nothing is being raised of the university Honorable Farah bill under the CDC-led government, which the United Party campaigned with all along, including denying Honorable Thomas Farah of the senatorial seat here in Monserrado County. The tone have changed. So the United Party and the CDC, what I really want to understand from these two political parties that are almost 24 years now in leadership of our country, 18 to be given to or ascribed to the United Party and 6 to the CDC, that they cannot take with JBE. So the way you're looking at now, when CDC comes to power, then Thomas Farah go to CDC, then CDC people start pressing him. For me, that's that's one of the major things I take from this. Thomas Farah was in the CDC, he was being referred to as Thief 5. Thief me, criminal, somebody who can steal, somebody who can take what belong to them. Today, that the Thomas Farah is being praised by the United Party, the young people of the United Party, the leadership of the United Party, that once cry around Monrovia town. All of us were witnesses that Thomas Farah was engulfed with stealing Liberian people money. Thomas Farah was involved with signing bad deals against Liberians. Thomas Farah did not need to have the opportunity to lead Monserrado County as senator because he was T5. Why today Thomas Farah building a structure for Joseph Boaka re-election, even though the United Party herself have not started building any structure yet as a national political party headquarters. But the United Party is not questioning Thomas Farah where he get that money from and he building Nemo headquarters with. This is the Liberia we are in. So these things, Austin, sometimes I can agree with you. They can appear frustrating because tomorrow the CDC comes to power or the ANC comes to power, Thomas Farah will be running there, and you will see politics, that interest, and they have the usual saying that there's no permanent friendship, no permanent enemies in politics, only permanent interest. And these are the verses that continue to keep our people way below the belt. You have people that Thomas Farah and Ronaldinho in their ways into the ruling establishment so that they and their surroundings can have better lives. Then they come back to you. They bring those same monies that were ill-gotten to influence you, to support them, to go back to power and subjugate and oppress you. These are the things that continue to happen. So you, the people now, will need to take the bull by the horn. Because if Deputy Speaker Thomas Farah is tired with the Unity Party and sees the wave of change going in the direction of the CDC, you come back to CDC, they go, they have one ceremony, then they see the men are prodigal son. Like the men can start, the men can go to the Bible, then they will say men are prodigal son, the men come back. Y'all lead the man, oh, y'all lead Farah, then found the CDC, Farah, then all CDC people y'all leading. These things continue to keep our country down and backward. Most of these politicians are not behaving responsible, and this is setting a bad signal for the young generation that you can go to any political party and glory seek. If you are losing favor from that political party and there is option that has enough grease and glory, then you go there and live your life in peace after you've been criticized or accused of mismanaging, stealing, and carrying out corruption. Then you go on the other side, you are protected, you are shielded by the new establishment you go to join. This is what happened in the case of Thomas Farah. Thomas Farah was being blacklisted as one of those persons that were milking the economy of our country, according to them, allegedly, under the then Wias regime. Today, he built a headquarters, even though the Unity Party does not have an official national party headquarters built by the party itself, but an auxiliary that is being established by one of the founding members of the CDC, because he does not want to be prosecuted. That the Unity Party had a series of information on him, which they accuse him of. He do not want to be prosecuted. That's why he decided to go to the Unity Party, even though they get headquarters, spend money and build headquarters for them, and nobody will question him like they questioned him before while he built houses in Lofa. He was stealing the money. Today, those houses cannot be brought under investigation, but Samuel Toy is being investigated over and over and again. And only that one man, since the two cases will come on, and the other people can be investigated, and their case stay sitting and just dormant. Nobody wants to raise it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody have forgotten 2020, the slogan that were around T5. Nobody wants to investigate. And this is where we are. We are just in a vicious cycle of poverty, destitution, suffering, anarchy, irresponsible governance, leaders lacking the credibility to lead well for our country to become a better place where our generation unborn will come and be proud to say we are Liberians. This is what we are experiencing. Fake people. Today the man is in Unity Party, tomorrow the man in ANC. When you ask the man say no permanent friendship, no permanent enemy, only permanent interest. That the kind of thing we will be on. And Austin, the public, is this the kind of country that we will continue to be proud of? Is this the kind of country that we want, that we deserve? Is this the kind of country that Liberians supposed to be experiencing, even though we all know that we pay the price? Our brothers and sisters, our mothers, fathers, aunts and uncles, friends, pay the price in the thousands today for us to be where we are. And we are still in the vicious cycle. I watched then standard bearer of the Unity Party, former Vice President Joe Barker, who is now the president, campaigning, expressing to Liberians that we know all the places the money going. We know we'll go for it. We'll go after them to bring the money back. Today, Thomas Fowler was one of those persons. One of those persons. Topping your list. Topping your list. Thomas Fowler now is a darling boy to Joe Barker. Anywhere Thomas Fowler put money, Joe Barker now know they play again. But before, wherever Thomas Fowler had money, Joe Barker, the president, now knew the place. He knew the place because Thomas Fowler at the time was supporting then President Weah. You see the kind of system we have, that there is no standard put in place when people are accused of crimes. They don't cross carpet to regimes that are in power to protect them. We have to create an architecture where people will be constrained to behave. People will be constrained to be disciplined. You see the kind of high level of indiscipline. Today somebody is accused of stealing here. They go to the other side. They been revered and paraded as messiahs and good people. How do we as a country, how do we get there? How? Reconciliation, zero. Good governance, negligible. Rule of law, black cow. Legislative oversight and representation, lukewarm. To the extent, Sheikh Al-Mustafa Kuyate just apologized, even though the first time he appeared, he said he wouldn't have apologized to anybody, to include plenary. He apologized under duress. He apologized under duress. He was being coerced. In full glare, the fact that this man appeared and said he wouldn't have apologized, and he stood by everything he said, that they received bribes to remove Honorable Koluba, and they've been receiving bribes to sign concession agreements. He said he stood by his words, or by his word, and this man in no time will buckle and capitulate by apologizing to the legislature. Men have been succumbed. Yeah, men. Damn it. You see? He apologized. His man who was being succumbed to the winks and caprices of the power that be, he apologized. Under duress. Do you know why? They have, under Article 44 of the Liberian Constitution, they have that power of contempt. So it is that pretext that they decide to use to influence his decision. So he wanted to stand by his decision, by his statement, but because the winks and caprices of the power that be, the oligarchs, the aristocrats who are governing this country under a corporatocratic regime, where companies and big corporations are making decisions on behalf of the citizenry of our country. The government is not in charge. They are calling the shots. They are determining percentage in terms of agreements, concessions, conventions, treaties, MOUs. And we sit here and we think that ordinary thing we eat, that serious thing going on here so. And we have to take serious measures as citizens to stop some of these irresponsible leaders who are doing these things to make our country to remain in a state of anarchy. Because where we are just surviving to the extent that serious minded people are complaining on daily survivability, daily subsistence. We in trouble. Intellectuals, people who have the capacity to produce, meaning to work, and their work can make impact. They don't have the opportunity to get work. You hear somebody, Dazzle Johnson, you bend down low before you can get contracts, before you can get jobs. These things are inimical to the democratic tenets that have upheld this country in peace, stability, and social justice, for which President Bouaka got the opportunity now to lead our country as president. Mr. President, I'm advising that you take you and do the needful so that Liberia become a better place for all of us to thrive and prosper. And Liberia will develop and we'll have peace and security. Call us on those numbers on 0776 104 104, 0776 104 104, 086 500 104, 086 500 104. Our diaspora callers, they are the only people to call us on this exclusive WhatsApp line, plus 231 86 500 104, plus 231 86 500 104. Call us and be live and have your say on talking points we had on our menu tonight. This first call. Hello, your name and where are you joining us from? How are you?
George, and I call you this evening from
Go ahead, quickly.
Yes, first of all, I'm being friends that point with the GSK master about it. And one thing I want to say is that it seems like the government is trying to have something for the Liberian people because I didn't see anything bad that lady did to have social time or police to be a issue that they read over poor agreeing with Rob, you know, that was very bad.
Okay.
Out of the government.
Okay.
Oh, very bad.
Okay. So we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there and go to this caller on line 2 and take our second call. Hello. Yes, you have to reduce the volume of your monitor. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Sisi.
Yeah, Tofa is two sons of Gofa. How can you go against the fellow Now Gofa, but you keep him out of the same trap. That is our tradition.
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
So it means that you agree for us to reduce Liberia to tribalism and sectionalism, right? Regional dynasty. This caller on line 3. Hello, your name and you joining us from where?
Hello?
Hello, your name and where are you joining us from?
Calling from
Yeah, go ahead now, quickly. Oh, this guy came to sleep on us. Hello? Yeah, go ahead. Hello.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead. No time.
Yeah, thank you. What I want to say about Thomas Salah is, all of us from Lofa County. Yes, not for us to talk plenty. Thomas Salah will fall. I can show you. Thomas Salah will fall very soon. Will fall. When they will tell him, then it takes time. When you not take time, will fall flat. I can show you below. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll leave you there and go back to line one. This caller, your name and you joining from where?
Hello, brother.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Joshua. I'm calling for Taylor Secretary. My brother, my daughter is supposed to be graduating on the 23rd of this month. Fortunately, I'm not US and I have my rent to pay. I'm not able. Today, I took day to go around to go look for a job. No way. Around single year. Even out of single. My brother, it is not easy. If my daughter don't graduate, I will take my daughter and myself. I will go in front of the executive mansion. Between the executive mansion and the house, I will take my daughter there. I kill my daughter with this thing, and then I kill myself right there.
No, you know what? I'm begging you.
For me, to even get my rent, landlord to put me offer.
You alone go on your. Listen, you alone go on. You and Luma go on your woman protest. Keep our young lawyer for
I will carry
tomorrow.
my daughter along with me because when I go there, the police will beat me. So my daughter will go and then she'll be there. What will happen? I will rather get myself there.
No, don't.
I can't do that, brother.
Okay.
I can't do that.
Okay, don't do what happened in Tunisia with Bouazizi, Mohamed Bouazizi. This caller, I think this is a general. Welcome.
Thank you. Now you be laughing at the back. You took my pastor, you were referring to me, and I didn't want to put in my hand. But the thing you were saying, so I thought you were referring to me.
Are you?
But I'm still I can't respond to you on the radio.
Yeah, respond.
Yeah, the one telling to tell us that they know the air. You cannot make peace, and never go say that. We have to go make peace. Now we say, "Oh, in my hand."
Don't blow you.
He want to do a peace, they go make peace, so the boy is scared. He's a fucking like,
you using my phone to make para on me.
Yeah, to attack the man.
Yeah, because I
You call my phone to attack me.
A fool for you, man. You can't get me here when I call my fool. You know for that fool. You call my fool.
So, yeah, lay your talk.
People are the care there. Not just we are because in the head of the country. When we have won an election, you call it as a father, papa, and win the election. Let people get at work. They refuse. The medical cabinet needs to call all of them refuse. I think it's a well local country. So the way you win is not called we are quite fast. Let's say, oh, but then you win. So you hear the word. So then you come here to the field. What has to do? So that man see what you put around, he tell you, know, then we are made say F was here for you. So don't be. And that was that. But a new man wants to and I will go there. We go to an animal of that piece there. They will look at that. For long after there, and there's an end by the way, in the heart, they put me in the heart. We name my heart. It ain't here in the heart. I don't want to eat that. So I'm show you a pastor, and they just in the corner.
We see you, General. General, will see you. Today morning. Today morning.
Okay, I'm a different way.
Okay.
You
are the next.
Okay, the next. Then of course, Joka West. You might accuse them, might say all they say, but that's Inter or not Internet. You see the 100 people. Because you're saying for that rule, she's not public to say you can't want them 1 year, then 1 year. No. Let's take precaution before I so up. Keep the conscience for la belle, keep they keep a number in the but they keep respect them. Well, I think I would not know, but let's take precaution. Anybody can here, let's take the measure. Put on your gloves, put your face down. Wear your eye and video and me readiness. If she say, but I hear, also see the come on, coffee or everything, she's talking about something. I'm a
prejudicial. It's prejudicial.
You know, from then, no trust. So let's call the woman. What she said, what is the report to the mother of our plan? And the thing is that they put really all who never this is the one thing. She said, what taking the woman to court or to sanction? They can do this government, nothing they cannot say.
Okay.
Nothing they can do. They can't listen. What's so good, yeah? Well, if we don't care that, they are going to make peace then. I'm telling you, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, General. Say you call the man phone to come make play with the man. Yeah, this caller. Hello, your name and where are you joining us from? Oh, this is.
Hello to my two boys children in studio.
Oh, Ma'am Beatrice Williams, welcome to the platform.
Mr. Junkies Morris and Mr. Austin Kawa. And this is how to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
The discussion that my son was on for reconciliation. Austin, I know you too for my son. Don't even waste your time on the people then. Judge, we are upon his death to make peace, to bring peace to the country. For your own president, God, don't tell you more about that. It was something his death. The peace that we're supposed to have with Yanni for in this country. He just wants to divide this country. Judge, we are upon his possible death. Let me tell you, the point get up over the same speech in Apple. If I speak to you one or two times, give myself confusion, and I speak to you as disciples reconcile with you. You don't need reconciliation. I will withdraw myself. I will not post speech because I know my post whether good bad in your heart, it will either be for your feet or it will not be for your heart. So speech that post. Speech is that post. They may have done a death. What kind of African president in this war? Before I say West Africa, what kind of president will you will be leading there? Maybe 1%, and they will take power and give it to you, congratulate you, they call you to your pay you off whom that congrats. We were selling power but still, George Weah did that too. This is because president, when last he ever called George Weah to congratulate George Weah or to tell George Weah, my son cannot say that. He never ordered a George Weah. He can't even be compared to George Weah. Whether he's making $1 million, what money he's talking, he's making. How you not be compared to even George Weah? Let me tell you now, George Weah not even need a peace. Nobody need a peace. We don't even want for George Weah to reconcile with you. When you carry a reconciliation for United Parties people, then they reconcile themselves. Before I say CDC, then before I say last George Weah.
General Austin was saying.
Then the country divided, they will be divided. We will accept anything he say, we will accept it. Yeah, and that woman that they arrested, all the things that they been doing here, people been doing all kinds of things. They don't go for free again. But the woman, they went to that meeting. When they were not, when that woman was not going to come out to say the Ebola in the stand. If the woman was not going to do publicity to publish what I went on, she just want to deny it. What she said, and the woman brought up, she just want to deny it. So the woman, even spoke up on that woman here. Just thank you for having me. So then you carry a piece on our side, and then you go reconcile. Somebody said like it, we must go do any kind of thing. Nobody need a service again.
Okay.
Finish with him.
Thank you.
He must be thinking that who got the boy, but we know who be who. Thank you for
This caller, this is our last call for tonight. Your name and you joining us from where?
Calling from Connecticut County to what district?
Yeah, Kamara, go ahead quickly. No time.
My statement is just short. When it comes to Tifa, I want to politically dare Tifa. Then it's something in district that we all contest. I will fucking good with that. That is a good district. I say Tifa, don't forget the Republic Library. One district. You must enter there. We enter here, one district. I will fucking good with that.
Wow.
So you can give it to me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's take this exception. Hello.
Hello, bro.
Junkie Morris.
Yeah, go ahead quickly.
Yeah, how you coming?
Give by God's grace.
Yeah, this is Vanity, the 1 million we are sending. Yeah, thank you for your topic on this discussion. So, Austin, let me tell you something. President Weah has reconciled with Joseph Walker ever since. When President Weah was in power, all the things that President Joseph Walker was needed, he did everything for him. He take him to hospital. He do everything for him. During the inauguration time, President Weah before President Joseph Walker hand up. That was the sound of reconciliation. So why are you trying to tell all that? John Weah should go reconcile with President Weah? No. And President Weah want to go reconcile with Joseph Walker? No. Let Joseph Walker go reconcile with John Weah. But I know for sure he will not happy because that papi have poor. The hard I can get. That is stopping him today. That is stopping the government.
Okay.
Where you at? Where can you stop slipping?
That is suffering the government.
Whip your hands.
And so,
come on. I know you're sleeping. I gotta wake us up, yeah? Okay, let's go.
If you were there in the diaspora, in Europe, the United States of America, the Caribbean, and wherever you are following us via our live stream, we want to say thanks for following us. Keep following us on Freedom Hard Talk here on Freedom FM 87.9, our online radio. There are other platforms to include our YouTube channel. Our callers here, thanks for calling. Those that tried calling and did not get through, we will be here on tomorrow from 8 to 10, same time, same station. My name is Junkies Morris, and Austin Kawa was here. Bye-bye from our end, and tomorrow we'll be here with fascinating topics.
You use us and they don't abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But now the question how we need peace. We need you and hear me. Equal rights and justice. I don't you